Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Welcome back to our English class. For today, before we start, I want you to have a look at this picture. So can you see the picture? If you can see the picture, do you know what it is called? If you know the answer, then it's great, but if you don't, then it's okay because I'll tell you the answer. This is a bee. Have you ever seen a bee before this? I'm pretty sure most of you have. So, for today's lesson, we are going to learn something related to this picture. And if you are curious about what it is, then let's get started. Here it is. So for today, we are going to learn about a poem entitled Watching a Bumblebee by Wes Magee. The bumblebee in the poem is not the bumblebee in the movie Transformers, but a real bee, like the one in the previous picture, okay guys? First, let's recite the poem together. Watching a Bumblebee by Wes Magee. Out in the garden, you will see the oh so busy bumblebee. It never stops to take a rest. It wears an oh so hairy vest. When flowers in summer open wide, the bee dives oh so deep inside. It gathers nectar all day long and hums an oh so buzzy song. While you watch from your garden seat, the bee makes honey oh so sweet. Then off it zigzags in a tease with an oh so busy buzzy wheeze. Now that you have listened to the poem, I am going to explain what this poem is about. This poem is about what you can see if you watched a bee in the garden. Also, this poem tells us a lot of information about the bees, such as where we can see bees, what they look like, what they do, and also the sound that they make. To make it more clearer, we'll go through the poem again to check if there are answers to these questions. The first question is where we can see bees. So the answer to this question can be found in the beginning of the poem, which is written in verse 1. As we can see from the lines, out in the garden you will see the oh so busy bumblebee. So we can conclude that we usually find bees at the garden. Next, what do they look like? From the picture that I've shown you during the beginning of our lesson, we can see that the bees have yellow and black stripes, right? But from the poem, we learned that the bees have a hairy body. So how do we know this? From verse 2, there is a line that says, it wears an oh so hairy vest. The phrase an oh so hairy vest here refers to the bee's body. It does not mean that the bees actually wears a vest. Moving on, the next question is what do bees do? So from the poem, we can say that the bees gather nectar from flowers and make honey from it. So how do we know this? We can see this in verse 3, 4 and 5. I have highlighted the lines which clearly shows the actions of the bee, such as the bee dives oh so deep inside, it gathers nectar, and also the bee makes honey. Then the last question is what is the sound that bees make? The answer is the bees make a whizzing sound. So for this one, we can see the answer in verse 6 through the lines with an oh so busy buzzy whiz. From the poem Watching a Bumblebee, what can you learn? There are two messages. The first message is that we have to be hardworking like the bees. As we can see from the poem, the bee never stops to take a rest and continues to work hard to make honey. We too have to be hardworking like the bees. The second message is to appreciate the bees. We need to appreciate their effort in making honey for us. Without the bees, we would not be able to enjoy the sweet honey that we have today, right? Before we end our lesson for today, there are two tasks that I would like you to do. The first one is please answer questions about the poem using the link given in the WhatsApp group. Screenshot your marks and send it to me personally through WhatsApp. And the second task is I need you to choose one verse from the poem and write the chosen verse in your exercise book. And then I want you to draw a picture that clearly describes the verse that you have choose. And I have included a photo and as an example in the WhatsApp group for you to refer to. You can refer to that as a guidance and then snap a photo of your work and send it to me personally. That's all for today's lesson. Thank you for joining and I really appreciate your attention. If you have any problems or questions, feel free to contact me. And that's all. Until we meet again. Bye!